This is the plaintiff, Robert Isaiah. He says he was hired by the defendant to revamp his business website. He did a great job, the guy. Now he's being stiffed. That's right. He's owed $650 for his hard and dedicated work. The guy refuses to pay him, however, so he's suing for just that. This is the defendant, Willie Moody. He says the plaintiff's trying to pull a fast one on him by charging him a monthly maintenance fee, which they never agreed to. This guy's a real slickster. He won't be ripped off by the likes of him and refuses to pay for something he didn't agree to. He's accused of refusing payment. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $500, the money he paid for a secure website.
All parties, please raise your right hand. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Isaiah, what brings you to court?
I'm basically suing Mr. Moody for non-payment of a site maintenance agreement.
But how did you meet Mr. Moody?
We were at a conference in New Jersey, and there was a question about funding. I gave him a link about funding that he wasn't aware of.
Meaning funding for what?
For nonprofits.
Because he has a nonprofit.
Yes,
What's the name of the nonprofit?
Chosen Generation Community Corporation.
And what do you do?
Counseling.
For what specific issues?
Mental health and substance abuse.
Mental health and substance abuse. So you were tapping him into sources he didn't know of for funding?
Absolutely, ma'am.
Right. Well, how did you come to be hired to fix his website?
I believe I gave him a card and kind of explained some of the capabilities that I could bring to his organization.
Had he complained about his website?
Yes.
He had told you that the person who did it had what?
Basically, I don't know if I can say this, but let's just say the previous contractor took the money and ran.
Took the money and ran. All right.
Yes,
so he hires you and agrees to pay you how much to fix the website?
$500.
So what does, is there anything in writing between the two of you?
Yes, we had a memorandum of understanding. They call it a MOU.
Was anything ever signed?
Yeah, the original MOU to restore the website, that was signed. Unfortunately, I don't have my signed copy of it.
What do you guys think we get signed copies for, gentlemen, if not to bring to court to prove things? What's the point of getting anything in writing if you're not going to bring it to me? Why don't you have it?
I believe I left it at his place of business when after I signed it.
Right, then take a picture of it with your phone or something so that you have a copy.
Right. But
do you have a copy of it?
No.
Neither one of you have a copy of it.
Right.
Hold on, let me see if I have a copy of it. You know, come on, guys. You're like how many cases in a row am I going to have the same problem with?
I would like to kick myself also, Your Honor.
Good. Go ahead and do that. And it's just nuts. All right. So I see two unsigned documents. One talks about the initial work being $500. The other one talks about $75 per month for site maintenance. Were either one of these signed?
No. Oh, the first one was. The second for site maintenance was not, ma'am.
Okay. Did you guys ever talk about it?
Absolutely.
And
basically, we were talking. I brought up the fact that site maintenance would have to be done.
Do you have any? Okay. Do you agree that you agreed to $75 a month in site maintenance, even if it wasn't signed?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we don't seem to have a dispute about that. So what he is suing for 2 months of site maintenance plus punitive damages because you didn't pay it. So he's turned $150 for site maintenance plus another $5. So he's turned a $150 case into a $650 case. And what I would like, and then you're counterclaiming against him $500 because he didn't do the original job. So tell me what is going on here.
So the original contract that was signed said that he would restore and store.
What does store mean?
Meaning secure the site.
Is that what store means? I don't even know what store. What does restore and store mean?
Those are his words?
No, I'm asking. Well, wait
no.
a minute. They're on the contract. Who wrote the contract?
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, you did. Well,
Right.
what is store like? When you read that, what did you think it meant? Because you signed the contract, according to you.
What happened was when the original site was supposed to be restored to a degree of functionality so that it could be presented on the internet. As far as this storing of the website, that was basically a scenario that the site would be backed up and maintenance would be followed through on.
I'm sorry. What does store mean?
Store.
Do you have?
Backup.
Can I ask you a question? Do you have a backup of your original restoration of the site?
Yes.
Did you ever give it to him?
No, that
He
was,
doesn't have that, but you
no.
have that.
Oh, yes, and it was part of the scenario with the site maintenance.
Why? What if I decide only to hire you for restoring the site? Then you would be giving him the copy, right?
Well, that may be true, ma'am.
Right. And he did pay you fully for restoring the site.
Right.
And according to you, how quickly did the site break down?
I'm not sure when it broke down. I just knew that when I went to see the site, it was not the original site that we put together. And
Okay, but I need to know the timing of that.
Oh, within a month.
Within a month. So you never looked at the site before you paid him?
Yes.
Oh, when you looked at it, it looked right when you
Yes.
paid him.
When I paid him, the site
Right.
was
Then a month later, then the answer to my question is a month later, you notice that it doesn't look right.
that it wasn't stored.
What does stored mean to you?
Secured. The site
Since when
disappeared.
does stored mean secured?
It wasn't-
Stored means you put it on a shelf and you're holding it. Like when does if the word secured means secured, but also secured until when? Like people pay people to maintain a website because stuff happens.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
That's what maintenance means to me. That's why we did an additional contract for him to maintain the site.
Okay, so you are agreeing, even though you didn't sign the contract, that you agreed to pay him $75 to maintain the site. So why didn't you pay the other $150?
Because I was away at the time, and I would have signed the contract when I returned.
Yeah, but whether you signed the contract or not, if the guy is earning the money that you agreed verbally that you would pay him, why wouldn't
I
you?
noticed that the site was not secured. The site disappeared. I didn't want to lose that because...
What ended up happening that all of a sudden the site didn't look as it had been planned?
Ma'am, what actually happened was on August 14th, I attempted to upgrade his site. When I went to log in, I was unable to access the admin panel. I immediately found out that because a couple of plugins give the site functionality and it gives the site a look and feel. I basically meticulously got in contact with the Namecheap, which is the web host. The web host.
The web host that you used was Namecheap.
That's their
Okay.
name. So they told me, based on chatting with their technical support, they informed me that the reason the site went down was because of 2 plugins. These plugins, ma'am, were automatically updated far beyond my control as the administrator of the site.
So did you fix it?
Absolutely, I did. Now, what happened was after I did it, and because the 2 plugins were deleted, certain visual elements of the website.
So did you fix that? Because it changed. Now all of a sudden, what? It was a white background. Things were in the wrong order.
Right.
So he doesn't like it. So did you fix that?
I did fix it to a certain degree. The only thing that was missing was the menu that was originally at the top.
So why couldn't you fix that though?
Because I could not access certain elements of the website to fix it.
Why not?
Based on how the site was originally set up by my predecessor, you had to have access.
Right.
And that's what I eventually had to do, because originally his site was.
All right, when you say eventually, so did you get it up and running in a way where you're in complete control and you don't have to rely on the guy who took the money and ran?
We never did that.
Why not?
Because of the fact that based on what Namecheap told me, they said that I would not be able to access certain functionality.
You wouldn't be able to close out the account unless you had the password?
Absolutely.
All right. Now, did you have the password to be able to close out that account and start a new account?
Before we did anything, I allowed Mr. Isaiah to interface with the other gentleman, Ian, to get the password and the login.
I thought you were in a lawsuit with that person.
I am.
Oh, so
But he did navigate us getting the login and password.
well, did you
and
have
we
the
changed it. We have it and he has it.
So what? So you have the password that you're struggling to obtain?
No. If I can.
Hold on. So if he has the password, why didn't you just ask him for it?
I did.
And?
He told me to stop bothering him, that Mr. Moody had all the information. As we found out later, that was not true. What he had did as a fail-safe, ma'am, he set up another account that restricted us from fully.
Who's he?
The man he just mentioned, Ian.
Oh, the other fellow.
My
Okay.
predecessor, the one that took the money and ran.
Okay. Okay, so go on.
So we have the login and the password. That's what he used to restore the account. The account was restored, and up until I thought the account was restored and secured. It was only when the account disappeared that I began this discourse on vacation with Mr. Isaiah, and I provided you all of these.
Yeah, I have it all.
Right.
But
that's
see,
where the conversation where I noticed that the website was totally different. And so I'm trying to have this conversation with them. How did this happen? And so is the account secured? And he
You
just
keep saying secured like there's a lock to a door. And you do. I've read his chat with the tech people at Namecheap,
Yes.
so I understand what he's saying. That sometimes, have you ever upgraded your phone and then all of a sudden something doesn't work, or if you don't upgrade your phone, then something doesn't work? See, people out there are constantly trying to stymie us, right? They're changing their platforms, and there's new things being invented. It's not even that they're. I think they're building in obsolescence, but also besides that, besides trying to make you buy the bigger space, sometimes things just progress, technology progresses, they have a better way to do it, so they make everybody move on to that better way, otherwise you won't be able to see the things you want. But I'm sorry, I don't need to be mansplained, I'm in the middle of explaining it to the two of you.
Listen.
So because of the fact that it needs to be upgraded, it'll be upgraded, and then all of a sudden something else doesn't work, causing you to either get a new phone or upgrade other stuff. But you can't just do like my husband does, which is, I'm not upgrading anything, because then other stuff won't work. So you got to keep up with the times. That's where the maintenance comes in. But if you don't want him to do your maintenance, you can get somebody else to do your maintenance. But tell me about your counterclaim against him for $500 because you feel what? That the original work wasn't done?
That the original work was not secured.
Secured what?
Because it disappeared.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
And what he put back
by your theory, you never pay, just a second. By your theory, you never pay for maintenance, and 6 months later you say it disappeared, so you didn't secure it, you didn't do the original job.
So I'm not going to honor the contract that we did not sign, because what I noticed is I really should have took you to court when I discovered that you didn't have the competence to secure that site. But because I was already trying to take somebody else to court, I'm tired of this. I don't know anything about this. I'm a counselor. That's what I'm trying to do.
Right.
I hired you to have the competence to know how to do this. So when I'm seeing that you just can't do it, I decide to walk away from it, only to find out that now he's suing me. So of course I'm going to countersue you because you didn't do the job.
Okay. Now, I just don't understand why you didn't just start fresh with a new site.
In order to start fresh, ma'am, you got to move to a different platform. And based on how my predecessor set it up, you couldn't move to another platform without the password that he used to originally set all of this scenario up. So then what I was forced to do was use the platform that my predecessor originally used to restore the site, which I did, which was WordPress. The problem with that scenario is WordPress automatically updates the website, which is well beyond my control or Mr. Moody's, I might point out. But those were the tools I had to work with.
Wait, I don't understand what you're saying. Were you ever able to correct it to how it had been when he was happy and paid you $500?
No, I was not.
Why?
Because of the fact that, unfortunately, there were certain capabilities of the website that I couldn't I just couldn't configure. I just couldn't configure it.
Why not?
Because I didn't have the time to look for another plugin to replace the plugins that were. See, once we deleted those 2 plugins, it totally took away the visual appeal of the site, and then I had to try to find another plugin that was compatible with the new upgrade of the website. That's the problem with, like you mentioned.
Right, but that's what you get, let's assume he was paying you the $75 every month. Isn't that exactly what you're paid for? So why wouldn't you know how to do that?
Because it takes time to find the plugin, ma'am. And the only thing missing, ma'am.
How do you find the plugin?
You go on WordPress's site and find a plugin that's compatible with the brand new upgrade they did. The issue here is that.
But why doesn't WordPress just tell you that right away?
Unfortunately, I can't answer that question for them.
Right, but I do see where Namecheap sent you like a link. Was it WordPress or Namecheap that sent you a link saying, here's how to do it?
WordPress.
Yeah, what they did was they sent me links to use plugins, but those plugins weren't compatible. This is the irony. They sent links to plugins that wasn't compatible with the brand new upgrade to 6.01. And now you got to search for plugins that are completely compatible with the brand new upgrade to
Right,
WordPress.
but you're suing for 2 months of maintenance fees. In 2 months, you couldn't find the plugins to make it look like it did before?
Well, I didn't have the time because after he...
Well, I understand, but then how is it that I should tell him you need to pay him? First of all, you don't get to not honor a contract that you didn't sign. There are verbal contracts. However, if you breach the contract, then he gets to not honor it because you breached. So what I'm trying to understand is if you have 2 whole months to do that, why is it that you don't get it done? If this is not beyond your capabilities. Because that's what he's saying. He's saying you don't know how to do it.
Because at the same time, I'm also images that he's given me and material that he's given me to upgrade the site, to keep the site up, such as podcast information. I'm still doing that at the same time that I'm searching for plugins for this brand new upgrade.
How long? Okay, I don't understand. When you search for a plugin, what does it mean? Like how if you, other than asking them, hey, what plugin is compatible, and then they send you an article and a link to tell you which ones are compatible, what else is there to searching for the plugins to replace the ones that were removed by the upgrade? Because
what will happen is that plugin has to be compatible with the brand new version.
Well, that's the reason that WordPress sent it to you, is because they're saying it's compatible.
Well, yeah, but unfortunately it was not.
So where there's a chat where you tell them, I saw the chat where you say, why don't you just do it for me, LOL. But I don't see the chat back where you say, hey, the article you sent me didn't help because those plugins aren't compatible. I don't see that.
Yeah, because at the same time, ma'am, I'm still trying to upgrade his site on the fly.
Right. On the fly is exactly the problem. That's it. What's your day job that's not the tech? What's your day job?
Oh, well, my day job is tech support, ma'am.
Do you work for a company?
No, I have a nonprofit, and that's what.
What's the nonprofit do?
Basically, we provide quality of life and information technology services to other nonprofits and private businesses.
Okay.
I would like to point out, ma'am, that the link that they sent, it was basically impossible for these plugins to work because they had just upgraded to a new version of 6.
Okay, well then why not reach out to them again and get the right plugins? Like, in other words, in 2 months, why don't you just reach out to them again and say, this one didn't work, give me the new plugins?
Because now this goes into the realm of site maintenance.
Well, I would have said that from the beginning. But you didn't. Or actually, it's not that you didn't. It's that you assumed he was going to be paying you, and he wasn't paying you.
Right, and I still did.
Right, but then you didn't finish. You didn't bring it full circle and actually fix it.
Right.
So he's like, well, why would I pay you if you didn't fix it? And you're like, well, why would I fix it if you didn't pay me?
Exactly. And then I was doing it, but then once he started disparaging what I had already done.
How did he disparage what you had already done?
Welcome back to the People's Court. I'm Harvey Levin. The plaintiff says he is a hardworking businessman who deserves to be paid for his excellent services. But the defendant claims the plaintiff is a slick-talking salesman and has been paid in full. Let's go back into the courtroom.
He was saying that I paid you $500 and the site is not restored.
Well, yeah, but that was truthful. He didn't say anything that was a lie.
So that's when we discovered that it wasn't stored.
Stored?
I have no idea what he means either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean because we had the conversation.
What do you think stored means?
It means it ain't secured. It ain't there.
That's not secured means secured.
Yeah, man.
Everybody just stop. We're not going to go back and forth on this anymore.
Yes, ma'am.
Here's what's going to happen, gentlemen. I am going to insist that you give him the backup of the work that you did originally for the $500. I am not going to order him, even though I do find that you folks had that, quote, contract to do the site maintenance. I don't think he got anything for that, so I'm not going to order him to pay that because you didn't eventually fix it, and you had 2 months to fix it. So if I'm going to order him to pay you for maintenance, it better be fixed, and especially in 2 months. So I'm not going to order him to pay you for maintenance, and I'm not going to order him to pay you punitive damages. This is a contracts case. He either owes you the maintenance, just the maintenance, or he doesn't. And I'm not going to order him to pay it because he didn't get anything for the maintenance. On your counterclaim against him, you got the original site, and you can scream at me till the cows come home telling me that the word stored means secured forever and ever. It doesn't. There's maintenance that has to be done. So just pay somebody else to do it if you don't have any confidence in him. I'm not going to make you pay him for the maintenance because he didn't fix it. But you don't get the $500 back because something happened later. However, I agree with you that you should at a minimum have the backup of the work that you paid for the $500 for. Then someone else can figure out the plugins to replace. But we all know what the actual problem is. It isn't that he didn't secure it forever and ever, and the word stored means secured. The word stored means stored. But one of the things you should do when you charge somebody $500 is give them the backup. So I'm going to order you to give him the backup. Yeah. If you do not give him the backup, I don't care that it has the bad plugins. If you do not give him the backup, then I am going to order you to repay him the $500.
Okay.
Therefore, that takes care of the counterclaim. And on your claim against him, no punitive damages and no site maintenance because in 2 months you didn't maintain the site back to what it should have been, and you should have been able to figure that out sooner. That's my verdict, gentlemen. Good luck.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff fails to get all the money he was seeking from the defendant, and the defendant didn't win his countersuit either. So both parties did not, they came away with nothing, really. Mr. Moody, let me talk to you. The defendant, how do you feel about the outcome of this case?
I'm satisfied with the outcome.
You are. Good enough. You didn't have to pay for the maintenance, the site maintenance, and that's what you had agreed to. All right, good enough. What are you going to do now? You know, you kept using the terms stored and secured. Is that a lot different from backup?
No, I wanted the site to be secured, meaning I wanted my domain Tier 1 recovery to be secured.
Yeah.
And so I have the name, so I just got to find somebody with the competence.
Oh, okay. But anyway, I guess you're satisfied then, even though you lost your countersuit. So good enough. And you will find somebody else to work on your website now, right?
Someone that has the competence, yes.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, Mr. Moody, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's see what Mr. Isaiah, he's the plaintiff who brought this case to court originally. Let's see what he has to say. What do you think about the outcome?
Oh, I'm satisfied with the outcome. I would like to point out I tried to do the best that I could to help Mr. Moody, even though he wasn't paying me. So I think I handled myself professionally. He
thinks you really aren't capable of providing what he wanted. Would you agree with that or not?
Absolutely not. I provided the restoration of his original site after he got ripped off by the previous contractor, and I did work above and beyond what I was supposed to do without an agreement.
All right. Well, listen, that's what you said to the judge, so good enough. I'm sorry you didn't get the money you were seeking, but that's the way it goes in court some days, okay?
That is true.
Very good. All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Isaiah.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Harvey?
So, Doug, in a case like this, I mean, I think I want to generalize this, that when you make a deal with somebody, the more specific you are in a contract, the better protected you are. You know, write down the breakdown of services, everything you can think of in a contract. That will prevent these disputes where you end up in court.
I received a $1,000 gift certificate to an antique car parts supplier. My antique car is finished and I have a balance on the card. the vendor won't refund any of it. They say it's their policy. Can they just keep that money?
Of course I can.
Well, wait a minute. You have a $1,000 gift certificate, right?
Right. When have you ever been able to get money back on a gift certificate?
Well, you probably can't. You're right. They're not going to give you the cash.
Right. That's what he's asking for.
Right. Yeah. He wants the cash
Yeah.
back.
Go buy another part with the rest of your money. But when
I thought it was as good as cash.
No, it's not redeemable for cash.
If you go to McDonald's, you can only get cheeseburgers.
If you look at these gift certificates anywhere, they always say not redeemable for cash on the back of them.
That's true. But what if, here's the problem. It's an antique car parts dealer. Like when's the next time that he's going to need a carburetor for a 1927 Bugatti Royale?
Next week.
Right? Probably never.
Maybe, or maybe next week.
Yeah, I guess but so. Old car stuff breaks on.
Yeah,
right?
but when new car stuff breaks on. But no, you don't get, the person doesn't give you cash back because you didn't, no.
But he does have a credit.
He should have a credit, and unless there's some...
There could be a time limit.
There might be a time limit.
Void after 1 year or something. Who the hell knows?
So if I were you, I'd buy the part that is most likely going to break down.
Get some windshield wiper blades.
Do something.
Whatever the hell you can get. Make the most of it.
Right.